Welcome to Life on Life's Terms, episode 30. This is the Friday episode. We're calling this The Fringe. We have Kenny in here today.
Hello.
And we're going to recap some of the stuff that we did at the Fringe, some of the stuff coming up this weekend, some of the bullshit that happened over the week, and we might touch a little bit about the podcast that came out yesterday, which was with Brock Balzchek. Yeah, Blazchek. That's it. Brock Blazchek. Sorry about that, Brock. You're probably listening, and I misrepresented your last name. Anyways, how was your time at the Fringe?
I had a really good time. I bring my kids, and also had my parents come with me, and everybody had a great time. We didn't get a chance to go in and see any of the exclusive shows, but we just really soaked in the street performers.
How'd you like the street performers?
I love them.
Yeah?
They were good. They were like, in their own sense, they were comedians and like daredevils in the same sense, but it was really entertaining, and like some of the vulgar jokes that came out of them that was like just over the heads of my children, out of their comprehension.
Yeah.
It was perfect. Like, I had a good laugh lots of times.
Do you know that a lot of those street performers, that's actually their preamble to their private show?
Yeah. So they're pitching their private show there.
Yeah. I enjoy the street performers as well. I went to Punch Up, which was a show.
How was that?
Fucking so good. It was so good. Like, I was happily surprised throughout the entire premise of the show, the way how they laid it out. It was very Canadiana, which was really, really cool. Canadiana in the context, like, they were using CBC and Yuck Yucks and all these Canadian kind of theatrical things that we would know. Like one of the jokes was about the Stratford Festival, which is like a Romeo and Juliet festival that's world renowned in Stratford, Ontario. So that was kind of mind blowing that they went into that place. And then the other thing that was pretty cool was that was the improv that I went to. So I went to an improv as well, and that was fucking. They did amazing. I think we're gonna see if maybe they're a local talent to us. So I'm gonna see if maybe we can get them in here. I know she's following our page. I forget her name right now, but and I don't have a phone in front of me in order to get what it is. I think you might have it.
SN something, right?
Yeah, something SNS Yeg or something like that. I can't remember, but it was a fantastic show. Brilliant people. I mean, if there's one thing that I would always recognize with Edmonton is that it's second to Montreal's Fringe Festival. It's really, in my opinion, the second biggest Fringe Festival I've ever seen in Canada.
Yeah, SNS Yeg.
Yeah, SNS Yeg. Yeah. So that's the production company. And the bill that they gave us was, what the hell was that called again? That was Improv something. It was the blue one that I had.
Thunderprov.
That's it, Thunderprov. Fuck, that was a really good show. And apparently it's going to be a reoccurring show here in Edmonton. So that I'm obviously plugging that. You guys got to go check that out. I mean, she is a fantastic, fantastic girl. Crazy, crazy witty, amazingly intelligent. And so upbeat. It was amazing to watch her perform, right?
If I could plug anybody, it's going to be Sharon Mahoney. She has a private show called Thundercunt.
Oh, yeah, that was good.
I didn't get in to see her private show, but just her street performance was great. She had like that whole Canadian jokes about being super over passive polite.
Yeah,
it was perfect.
I think one of the punchlines too that I really liked was when she said that she told her family that she's a doctor in Saskatchewan.
Yeah, but she's a street performer.
Yeah, but she's a street performer. Yeah, so I thought that was pretty Canadiana as well, right? Like, who the fuck goes to Saskatchewan? Nobody. Like, Saskatchewan and New Brunswick. Who the fuck lives there? Nobody. That's who lives there. Nobody.
The people that are living there listening right now, they're like, what the fuck?
What the fuck, man? That's why we just fly over the prairies. Nobody really stops in. Like, you fly through it. So yeah, the Fringe was amazing. I had a really good time. I'm anticipating next year that we'll probably get media passes. That's
Hopefully.
what it sounds like. Yeah, it sounds like that. So
just got to apply early enough.
yeah, and everybody else well, I talked to people and things that were said, and it sounds preemptively better for next year.
Okay.
And then and we'll try to get into some other fringe festivals and folk festivals and all that stuff next year, Canada wide. I think that'll probably be a push for us, especially if you as the listeners want us to be somewhere specifically. Would be a pleasure for you guys to shoot us a quick email or a message or something on wherever you can do so, which is usually YouTube or our website. And those forums would be great, and you can say, hey, why don't you guys come and be here for this thing, and we will try to make every attempt to be there, you know. So how's your week been so far?
It's been really good. I've been busy at school. We're learning a whole bunch of new stuff for my personal training course, and things are going good. Like overall in life, everything's going really, really good.
Yeah. Anything challenging?
Finding student funding for my next semester because there's an overlap in courses, but I think I'm good because I got a cosigner now.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
That's a real motherfucker though, when you're trying to go forward and it's like these things happen, but
Yeah.
was it hard, Kenny,
To what?
to set this up?
No, it just took persistence.
Well, there you go. So good.
Yeah. Just keep plugging away at it. Something will come out of it in the end.
Persistence is faith. Just keeps pushing us forward, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that Brock thing yesterday. I don't like I like referencing from other shows. But I'm going to tell you, like, that show that I did with Brock yesterday was fucking unreal. Like, it really was. It was unreal.
I can't wait to hear it.
We went to places, man, where we were talking about, like, what the taste of adrenaline is in your mouth. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like I probably divulged some stuff that I might have done where you could see how our old lifestyle really lines up with that lifestyle. And that fucking 0 to 500 kilometers an hour in 30 seconds is everything that drives us, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And to be sitting across the table from Brock and to see his face as we're going through those emotions and both of us are looking at each other like we just tasted drugs for the first time, and it was amazing, right? Like that was the look that we had in each other's eyes almost in that moment, right? And then all of a sudden, we start talking about the things that we do today in order not to allow those thoughts to take us away to these other places.
Yeah.
It was unreal.
What were some of the things that he said that he uses today?
So for him, he went to a PTSD place. I think he's working with somebody privately. So he uses, I would assume some of the techniques that was taught to him then. But his biggest concern was that ex-military people don't really get any PTSD help,
counseling or anything.
Yeah. And then he's like his biggest beef yesterday was that we're letting in known terrorists in Canada, and he's like, I fought them, and these are known ISIS members that we're letting into our country through a reintegrative process, yet they gave me $200,000 for losing a fucking leg.
Wow.
Yeah. And he's like, it's a one and done. Here's $200,000. See you later. Right? Like, is $200,000 really worth losing a leg? Like,
no.
No. And then how they disqualify you from life benefits or a life pension plan because you went and made money. So he's like, what they've been creating basically is, well, if you're on the pension plan, why go and get a job? They're creating a welfare state, basically, is one of the points that he was making. And it was really, really fascinating to see how his mind and strategy thinks, and the stories he had coming out of battle school were fucking crazy. Like, some of the shit that he was talking about in battle school, we would recognize that.
Yeah.
Like one of the things that really came up was we started talking about So like I might know what it's like to go and rob a drug dealer with a crew of guys. I might know what that feeling feels like.
Yeah.
He was calling them hard knocks. We call those warrants no knocks. Right? They just pop through the fucking door and there they are, right? But I understand that feeling of standing on the other side of the door and potentially walking through a door and putting people on the ground and taking like all of their drugs potentially and all of their money, maybe, you know?
If you can find it quick enough.
Well, and you know, things can happen in order to prevail sometimes so that you can find it.
Yeah.
Right? Like when it's a crew of guys, right? So like I definitely, and I even said like there's guys in my old lifestyle or our old lifestyle that definitely came from the military and they taught us these things. I mean, it's not far out of the fucking realm. You know what I mean? Like that's why and I think that's an alpha male thing. To segue to something, I really believe that that's what that is. It's a fucking alpha male thing. We as alpha males, we either go one way or the other. And if we go into the military, we need that commander to tell you where the fuck you're going in life. So you don't have to think about it. You just put your head down and you go. And that's kind of the distinguishing factor from some alpha males to other alpha males, I think. And guys like you and I were like, fuck you, tell me what?
Yeah, no.
What now? What?
Yeah.
But that being said, you see how boot camp was so effective for you. Because that is the pull that it has, right? I mean, when you look at what Brock was saying, one of the things that he was saying was, well, the reason why I was so intrigued and so wanting to be there was because I was around other guys who were just like me, you know? And he's like, the formation and the fraternity that I needed within that time of grunting and perseverance and working as a team and getting forward and doing all of these things, he said that camaraderie still lasts till today. Right?
Yeah, so for our listeners, they might just be listening to this and haven't listened to previous episodes. Boot camp is a couple units that was in the Edmonton Remand Center in the prison that I was in for quite some time.
Oh yeah, and by the way, if you ever hear ERC, that's what we're referring to as Edmonton Remand Center.
Yeah. Yeah, so on the boot camp units, there is strict drill and inspections, and we have to perform rigorous physical activity every day and do all sorts of various types of stunts, like sync cadence and a whole bunch of stuff.
So fairly similar to, well, I guess it's the structure style of military, right?
Yeah, and it was ran by ex-military who are now prison guards, and they seen a potential to help build structure in individuals' lives that were incarcerated.
But I think, and that's the bridge, right? I mean, I think we can see how atypical men were attracted to that, right? Like the only thing that didn't really maybe sit with us in our adolescence, because I don't know if you tried for the military, but I definitely took a hard look at it as a younger guy.
I looked at it, yeah. I never tried out though.
But the thing that stopped me was this motherfucker's going to tell me what to do. Right? Like, no, that's not happening. That's not where I want to be. I don't want some other motherfucker telling me, yeah, jump in the pool right now. Get fucked, son. Like,
it's cold. I'm not going in the pool.
Yeah, like for 30 grand.
No.
I don't think so.
Oh, yeah.
like that's not happening. Yeah. Right? I would definitely be second guessing that 100%. And so I mean, I would guess that when we're in that lifestyle, like when we transition to something like boot camp, I guess I should back up. When we transition into something that's rigorous and physically challenging, so on and so forth, I think that becomes almost like taking care of your temple. You know what I mean? And then we as atypical men, we look at that as actually honoring it, right?
Yeah, and I think like the whole camaraderie is really help deal with like our PTSD, like being in a criminal lifestyle and doing those jack moves and break and enters and shooting in the middle of the streets and stuff like that causes some serious trauma. But like when you're in that atmosphere with 20 other guys and you're working together as a team to get a job done or something like that, it eliminates that. Like it takes away from that stress of the past and it puts you right in the moment. I just had like a clarity moment where I was like, the advantage to being in the military is that you can talk about the things that you did openly,
where you and I are in this world, there is no such thing as a statute of limits in Canada, and we have to be very, very careful about some of the things that we disclose here on this forum or this media forum, only because, like, it's only because of this. So I'm not sitting here saying that I have lied to the listeners by omission. That's not what I'm getting at. I've told you guys the worst things that I've ever possibly done in my life in the context of the emotional humility that I felt and that emotional bankruptcy, as well as a spiritual bankruptcy that brought me to a place called recovery and living the life that I live today on its own terms. So in saying that, what I'm getting at is some of the feelings that are disclosed through the experiences that we've had should only be judged upon the merit of the feelings that are provoked. You see what I'm saying? What we did really doesn't fucking matter, because the far-reaching and the far-grasping things that anybody will be able to empathize with are the feelings that we were felt because of the experiences that we had, right?
Yeah.
I think that's where we get reined back. You know what I mean? Because we can't be fully disclosing. Sometimes we have to say things like, I might know what that feels like, or potentially I was in a scenario of this, or whatever, however the fuck we go about it, right? And I think that's kind of the issue here in Canada, is that it makes it very, very difficult for us to say, well, you know, I have changed my life from a really shitty lifestyle to this. These are some of the experiences that I had. I can only talk about the ones that you caught me on, and I can't go into the things that you didn't, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's fucked up. Like, to me, that's just fucked up, right? That's not free speech. That's not being able to disclose things to the fullest capacity for people to be able to see how we dealt with certain emotions through the experiences that we went through, right? Mind you, we'll probably have these engagements of like public speaking events where the microphone won't be on. And we'll probably be just a little bit more inviting in some of the things that we say, or a little bit less discriminatory about what we say about ourselves, or less censored. That I guess that would be the best word.
Yeah, if we're going to get on some real shit, we'll just turn the mic off.
Yeah. And we'll shout really, really loud. As long as it's not being recorded, right? So, what do you have coming up this weekend?
Sunday, I leave to Toronto.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I'll be speaking at a Canada Service Corps event, and I will be speaking in front of the parliamentary secretary for Trudeau.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. I'm chosen to represent this organization that I've been a part of, this nonprofit. It's called Apathy is Boring.
Yeah.
Yeah, I repped that a few times already.
Yeah.
It's a pretty cool organization. It's just about engaging youth politically and in their communities.
Mm-hmm.
And we did a project here a few months ago about social exclusion, and then all the other cities that are involved in this, which was Montreal, Ottawa, and Edmonton. They each did their own project, and I kind of got to give a recap on it. I got to explain a little bit about myself and my past, and how that experience and being involved in the community and that organization helped me.
Crazy.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I got a pretty good speech written up.
I'm sure you do.
Yeah,
I wouldn't expect anything less than that. Really,
yeah, it's pretty raw.
Yeah.
It's real fucking raw.
Yeah, I remember when I was taking speaking engagements for people in detox and stuff, and they were like, "Try not to drop words that make people freak out," and I'm like.
Like, what the fuck is that?
And then all of a sudden you start hearing the list, like the N-word. Well, no kidding.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't have a problem not saying that.
But they meant like native. They didn't mean like the other N-word.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. They're like Aboriginal.
I think Aboriginal is discriminatory.
I agree.
Because
people are people.
Well, ab means not, and then original. So like they were the original. So if anything, it should just be indigenous.
I agree. I mean, it just became this thing, and I think
Made by white people for white people.
yeah, like I guess what I'm getting at is this is the give no fucks moment of this segment. I think I'm just gonna throw it out there. I am appalled at how InfoWars has been censored. It is fucking mind blowing. I can't believe it. I can't believe that this is happening the way that it's happening. I'm not going to say that entity's name again because I'm sure that there could be a strike against us if we even say the name in some of the forums that this podcast goes to. And I just cannot believe the censorship in a country that literally states free speech. And being a Canadian, knowing that I only have the right to express my opinion and I don't have free speech, I adore and admire the free speech that people have in America, in the context that even if it's shitty what you're saying, you still have a fucking right to say it. And if that's the only way that you can articulate your point in order to be able to express your feelings, you should be afforded the opportunity to do so, in my opinion. Like, and we've come to this place that's
Can you go into that for me a little bit? InfoWars?
yeah, let's not say the word again because I'm sure we'll get a strike. That's how nervous I am about even the word.
Oh, for that.
Yeah. I won't we can't say the word because we will get in trouble.
Okay, I'm sorry.
That's okay. But this is how the listeners know that we don't bleep anything out. So like basically what happened with that entity, they're probably one of the pioneers in the podcasting world / radio world. Every social media giant lined up against them, except for Twitter, really, and just totally took them off of every one of their platforms. Which, in my opinion, if you have a platform and it's a platform, it should, in my opinion, the place of wherever that platform is being broadcasted, those should be the rules subjected to what the rules are for your speech. And if China says that I can't say this, well, then guess what? In China, they're not going to get this podcast. This is what's going to happen because it offends their laws. And that's fine. I'm okay with that. And in my opinion, it would be the same thing like if it was Indonesia or Saudi Arabia or any of those places. I mean, fine. If the podcast isn't going to be there because it offends their laws, well, then it's not going to be there. But a place like America, where literally free speech is like
a right.
Yeah. Just as it's kind of a right for us, but not really. See, this is the crazy thing about Canada is like we have a new law called hate speech. But go into hate speech law and define it. They've never defined what hate speech is. Like never. Right? So like there's subject to and all of these things, but it doesn't really. And then when you see how they utilize that law, it's so wide varying. And there's at times when people have been charged with hate speech in Canada that is contrary to what the law says. Like it's so wide. It's such a wide berth, right? And I've said this before. One of my biggest fears about the podcast was being subject to that issue. And it being that issue. Yeah, community statements in a public place incites hatred against any identifiable group where such incitement is likely to lead to a breach of peace is guilty of an indictable. So it's a fucking federal offense. An indictable offense and is liable to imprisonment for a term not exceeding 2 years. So this is the killer, okay? So it's 2 years less, but they've already said the word indictable.
So how is it 2 years less if it's
because the federal government came out with those fucking hybrid indictables.
Oh, okay.
So let's play this to the end. You get charged with this, and it's 2 years less a day. You know how long it takes to get in front of the Supreme Court of Canada?
Oh, it'll take at least a year.
3 years plus. You have to have a 3-year plus sentence for them to even see you. They will never see this charge.
So you just stay remanded?
You're fucked. Like, they will never see it. And now you have an indictable offense, which means you're a federal case, right? So for Americans, that's a felony. That's what we're saying, right? That's where this is leading. And then it says an offense. So part B of this says an offense punishable on a summary conviction. So because it's a hybrid, they can pick which one they want to do now.
Indictable or summary.
Right. I got to see where you got this from. So you got this from, just to plug it, as the Canada Justice Law website. And you can get it at law/lowest.justice.gc.ca. That's where this definition came from. And it also said willfully promotion of hatred. What the fuck is this now? Everyone who by communicating statements other than in private conversation willfully promotes hatred against any identifiable group is guilty of an indictable offense. Again, a fucking hybrid. An indictable offense, and is liable to imprisonment for a term not exceeding 2 years. So how the fuck is that indictable? It's not. You have to have 2 years plus to go to the federal pen. Like, you have to. It doesn't fucking make sense. Then when you look at a B, it says, oh, but an offense punishable on summary conviction. Then it gives you the defense. No person shall be convicted on an offense under subsection 2A if he establishes that the statement communicated were true. Okay, so hold on. Here.
That just opens up a whole can of
worms. We're going to go into this, I think. We're going to go into this. So then it says B, if in good faith the person expresses or attempted to establish by any argument an opinion on a religious subject or an opinion based on a belief in a religious text. C, if a statement were relevant to any subject of public interest, the discussion of which was for public benefit, and in unreasonable grounds he believed them to be true, or... So now... The judge is now in judgment if you believe that something is true.
Well, then
what the fuck?
Then you can defend your case if you believe it's true.
That is fucked, but it's based upon the merit that the judge believes that you believe it's true, which means you're so fucking ignorant. There's no way that you wouldn't believe it's true. That is that is insanity. How in the fuck do you judge if somebody believes that something is true? Put yourself in that situation. You can't. You fucking can't. Yeah, I believe it's true. Just like I believe it's true that there was a woman who got knocked up without getting fucking semenized in from God because I'm Catholic. I believe that's true. Other people aren't going to, and I understand why they wouldn't. But I believe that's true. So if a judge all of a sudden says to me, well, that can't be true. That's just ignorant if you believe that. Yeah, but guess what? I fucking believe it. Well, I can't see that. You believing in that truth. So therefore, your defense is taken away. Fuck you, you're done. Go do your 2 years. Like, what the fuck is that? How does a judge discern that? They can't.
A lie detector test?
It's inadmissible in court in Canada. You can't. The only reason why we have lie detector tests in Canada is to stop investigations. I'm not even shitting you. Been there. Got one done. Yeah. And then D, fuck, and there's forfeitures here. They can take your shit away, man.
For hate speech.
Fucking right. But see, this is the thing, okay? You know what they didn't give you for a defense? Is under the Charter of Rights, you have the right to express your feelings. You have the right to expression in Canada.
Not publicly, though, only privately.
Apparently, that's what this is telling you.
You cannot publicly express yourself legally.
But when you look at the Charter of Rights, it says that you have the ability, provided that you've paid all of the things that you have to pay in order to be in the speaker's corner, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Get up, like now you could have people, and I'm not reading that thing anymore because it's just pissing me off, really. You can have, remember how we used to have those preachers on the corners with the big signs saying,
they're still there.
Believe in Jesus.
Go to
These
Jasper
poor
Ave.
pricks, these poor pricks can get fucking taken down because of this bullshit. And all it takes is some judge, and I'm not saying that judges are assholes, but let's face it.
So you saying that the guy preaching on the corner with the microphone, I can call the cops
Fucking
on
hate
him?
speech.
Hate speech.
Yeah, hate speech.
What about all the other religions?
I'm not going there. I'm not. I've seen what happens. Right? I've seen what happens.
Because I get offended when I go by that guy and he's screaming at me to repent.
But at the same time, you could be offended all you want. He's not responsible for your feelings. You are. That's your responsibility to deal in a constructive, positive way. It doesn't mean that we have to say, fuck you, shut up. That's not what it means. What it means is, okay, you're afforded the opportunity to say whatever you want to say, and that's fine. Sure, it makes me feel the way that I feel, and so, well, ask yourself, why do you feel those things? Stop pointing the finger at them and look at the three that are pointing back at you, right? Because if you're in that place, now you're actually you are doing a self-inventory. Like, why should his words piss you off so much?
I know.
They're fucking words.
I contemplate that every time I have to walk past him to go get a coffee.
But see, this doesn't mean that you walk by and say, fuck you, get off your crate here. Shut the fuck up because you believe in some woman getting impregnated by what they call a Holy Ghost that is contrary to any fucking science that says that could happen. So if that's the case, like I said, if that were to go in front of a judge, well, that's what the judge is determining truth. That's the merit that he's deciding whether you believe this or not. What in the fuck? They never once gave you the defense to use the Charter of Rights and ask any criminal lawyer. No criminal lawyer will say, I'm a criminal lawyer. What they'll tell you is I'm a fucking Charter of Rights lawyer. I defend the Charter of Rights. How many times did you beat a case because of the Charter of Rights? Every single fucking one.
Yeah, three times.
That's how that works. They're a Charter of Rights lawyer. Right? So by looking at this horse shit, and I can tell you right now, our lawyer, Liam at Connolly Law, he's fucking losing his shit right now listening to this. Because he is so passionate about this particular topic, right? Him and I have had hour-long conversations about this. But the reality is now reading those defenses. Imagine now, you can't even use the Charter of Rights, the freedom of expression, to articulate your opinion in the best way that you possibly can because on fear that it might oppress somebody or it might offend somebody, right? See, those feelings that you feel are your feelings. They're not fucking mine. I'm not making you do anything. The only people who make you do something are people who put a fucking gun to your head and make you into a victim. And I would just go out on a limb here and say that people, for the majority of society, would rather be a fucking victim than be somebody who can pull up their pants and say, I don't have to feel this way. This is an internal conflict. This is not an external conflict. Right? I don't think people really have the insight to recognize where internal ends and external begins. Nobody's coming at you with a fucking knife to your throat because they want you to believe something. That's not what's happening here. These are words. And sure, they hurt feelings, but you're responsible for them. And if you're feeling something because of those words, go and fucking deal with it. Go and deal with it. I'll get off my pulpit.
That was a good one. That was a good tangent.
I lost it there. Because this is something that we deal with all the time. Truly in the podcast. Like there's been stuff, man, that has been said on this show where I'm like, fuck, I don't know.
Just waiting for the hate mail to come in.
I've been called a misogynist already.
What else?
I don't read those comments. I shut notifications off of Twitter and I shut it all off. I've been called many, many things. I've been called a fucking racist on this show. We're apparently Life on Life's Terms is a misogynist because we've never had a woman guest on the show yet.
Well, we're trying to.
Yeah.
One's coming.
But regardless, what the fuck does that matter? Like, what does that matter? Really? How does that fucking qualify me as a misogynist? It doesn't. These are the people that I wouldn't go that came first. They're the people who decided to be on the show. That's how it is. Do you know how far out the net has gone to bring in as many people that we can? I mean, we only have so much time a week, you know?
Yeah.
We're afforded 2 hours a week. And I'm not saying that men come first. That's not what I'm saying at all. You know? These are the people that are here. So, like, all I'm getting at is society is an outraged society as a sport. And that's what it's become. It's a fucking sport to see how outraged people can be. And it's a strange time to live right now, man. You know, it really is. It's a strange time to see how all of this shit is just fucking coming up. You must see it at your school.
Yeah, a little bit.
So what kind of culture change are you seeing at the school that you're going to?
Well, the school I'm going to is really small, but when I'm at Norquest, there's a big culture shift there. It's like the majority of the people there are East Indian, and I see a lot of like racism towards white people.
Really?
Yeah, straight up. Like
Really?
that stuff doesn't bother me, but I've seen a few people like
So just for clarity, so that we understand what you believe, what is the context of racism under your understanding of the word?
just discrimination. Like,
Let's go into it though, because I don't want us to be in a legal peril.
okay, privilege towards one group and not towards another group.
Okay. Or discrimination. So my understanding is this. Racism to me means that they're all the same. So what was always taught to me in my social sciences in school was this. Prejudice is something that's learned. So when you have a prejudice, it's typically towards some sort of group of people. And it's because potentially the prejudices that you have are learned because of that group, which is actually a stereotype, right? So like, for instance, and I'm going to use myself as an example. If I walked around with a white muscle shirt that said Fruit of the Loom on it and never tucked in my shirt and it was always dirty and I looked like a slob, well, I might be considered a honky.
White trash.
Exactly. So that is participating in the stereotype of prejudices that people might have. Okay? So that's prejudice. And a prejudice is learned. It's not something that you just inherently have. And racism is even further than that, which is saying, prejudice is saying, for most, my understanding of the word is that while I have prejudices, and I'm using this as a statement, not saying that I have prejudices, but I'm using it as a statement in order to clarify my understanding of it. I might have prejudices of a particular group, but not all of them are exactly the same as that. Some of them just qualify within those stereotypes because that's the way that they act, right? So that being said, if I was a racist, I would say, well, they're all the same. If I can throw them in the same pot, they're all the same. That would be a racist. But again, here we are now. I mean, how crazy is it that I literally had to say to you, you need to define what racism means to you, right?
Yeah.
Because of essentially persecution. And you and I being ex-convicts, there's no fucking way that we're getting the same trial as some asshole who doesn't have a fucking criminal record on hate speech. You know what I mean? Like that's just not going to happen, right? Like, fuck. Oh yeah, new charges, they hate speech. Shit, you should really watch your fucking mouth. I mean, I can swear. Americans don't get that. I don't think they recognize this. In Canada, it's illegal to swear on the radio.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah. Obviously. So funny story. When I was living in Ontario, they never swore. And there was this kid. I got a couple funny ones. So there was, and I'm not going to say who it is because this person wouldn't like it. So
Get charged with hate speech.
no, they're really really young. So they kept this person was like 5 years old, and they kept dropping the hate bomb, the F bomb all the time. Fuck mom, fuck dad, all this shit, right? 5 years old, and finally their mother had said to them, "Look it's okay that you swear at home. I don't care." And this kid was French, right? So like words like tabarnak and Moody Christ, those are serious swears. We don't say that in French because it's derogatory towards the church. And in Quebec, those are swears, but the word like fuck is not a swear, right? So this mother is telling her son, look, you can't swear. It's very offensive to people. You need to stop doing that. And so they're driving into Quebec, and the radio, like the weather report that day was this. Motherfucker, it's going to fucking rain all cocksucking day today. And that kid looked at their mother, and they're like, if he can fucking swear, so can I. And it was all done, right? And that's the difference between like Quebec and Ontario, or French and English. And then same person was in religion class in a Catholic school, and the nun was trying to explain to them how she's married to God. And so this kid's like a fucking living Johnny, you know? And he says to the nun, he says, well, how did you consummate your marriage with God? Except the kid was too young to understand the word consummate. So he just said, how did you fuck God in order for the marriage to take? So he got kicked out of class, got in a bunch of shit, and then in sex ed about 2 weeks later, they were talking about masturbation. He's like, oh, I know how she did it. Oh my God. That just pissed off all the Catholics. Yeah, the innocence of being a child, right? That's a good story. That's a good one. And so you're going to Toronto. Where are you staying?
At the West Inn.
Oh yeah. Don't say exactly which one.
Okay.
I won't go there.
I'm really looking forward to it, though. I've never been to Toronto.
Never?
Nope.
Oh wow. Yeah, you're gonna love it.
I'm gonna go to the CN Tower, and apparently they have a sick aquarium.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go check that out.
They do it, and they have an awesome restaurant up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it spins around and shit. I lived in Toronto.
Did you?
Yeah.
Where's some of the places I should check out?
The Ontario, whatever the place it's called. It's like Ontario Place. That's what it's called. Check that thing out. It's a great big dome. Go where the Blue Jays are for sure. Go down to the park. Go check out Lake Ontario. Go right down to the shore. Check out the harbor. You want to see some fucking sailboats, son?
Yeah?
Shit. Yeah. You're talking like 150-foot sailboats there.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy. One of the most expensive harbors in Canada, next to Vancouver. Really nice boats there. Stay out of Mississauga. People in Toronto will know why I'm saying that.
Why?
You can find out when you're there.
But you just said stay out.
Stay out. Ask people why you should stay out of Mississauga. And probably stay out of Brampton. Yeah, that place ain't good for you either.
Okay.
I used to live in Jane and Finch. So that's Regent Park. That place is cleaned up quite a bit. It was a really bad, rough area at one time. Go to the museums, man. They have some serious museums there, and some really, really good art places, like
Art galleries.
Yeah, that's what I'm. Yeah. I've seen your art on Instagram.
Yeah, I just put it out there.
Yeah, have you checked out Vero?
Yeah.
Yeah, you need to put that on Vero because that's where all the artsy fartsy people are.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just wanted to put it out there, start building a little profile for myself for when I start laying some ink. Well,
Vero will sell it for you. You'll be able to sell that art. I've sold paintings on Vero.
Cool.
I do watercolor and stuff. I'm okay. You know?
You're a musician though.
Try to be. Yeah. I can't really play like I used to anymore. I have eczema. Until that eczema stops. playing for long periods of time. I'm allergic to my own sweat, basically. That's what happens, and I break out in a rash. It sucks. So if anybody has a treatment out there, let me know, because I'm really looking forward to one. I'm tired of scratching because I sweat. You know, kind of sucks.
I scratch because I sweat, and I sweat because I scratch.
I was gonna do an episode about being a bachelor, like with you.
I still live with Mom.
Yeah, that's okay. But I'm not a bachelor anymore.
Why, you found somebody?
Yeah.
Was it that girl that tried to kiss you and you ran away?
No,
No.
it was the one that I thought was a friend before that. No, yeah. It's yeah.
Why haven't I met her yet?
Because I'm private, Kenny. I'm private.
I'm your fucking partner.
Probably today after the show.
Okay.
Yeah. Can't say names though and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Obviously, you know, because
I'm proud of you.
yeah, thanks. I'm not a complete fucking loser. Right.
I was questioning if you were gay or not for a while.
Because my mom's never met a woman before in my life, right? So my mom, she's just like, oh, mon petit tapette, which means my little faggot in French. But she knows,
Thanks,
I was,
Mom.
yeah. But she knows I was a pimp, so she's like, it's a joke. She just has never met a woman in my life, not one.
Your mom sounds cool.
Yeah, she's pretty cool. Yeah, she's changed a lot. Thank God. It's kind of funny. So like my mom got this thing at work where she was commemorated for something that she had did. She's like a social worker in an old age home. Okay. And me and my mom were never really positive to each other, really. And like we just didn't have positive things to say about each other. We were very French, waiting for the other shoe to fall all of the time, right? So all of a sudden, my mom's like, hey, this thing happened to me at work today. And I'm like, oh, that's so exciting. That's so cool, right? Yet everybody else in my life, I'm like that with now, because that's just what I am today. I try to be as positive as I possibly can be. But with my mom, it feels like it's fucking alien, because we've never been like that before. And here's these positive things coming back and forth to each other. Right? And it was I felt really, really weird about it. I was sitting there with feelings.
Did she make any comments about it? Like,
oh yeah. We kept going back and forth. It was a positive engagement, you know, which was like,
she didn't stop and be like, are you fucking bullshitting me?
Yeah. No. Like we've made that corner. We've made that turn together, me and Mom.
Good. That's
and
so good.
Yeah, but it's still strange. Like it's still strange that other shoe, we don't even talk about the other shoe anymore. And sometimes you're kind of like, what the fuck? Like, are we this fucking, like, are we crazy? Like, this is fucking crazy, right? So yeah, it's kind of nuts. What about you? How is your interaction? Well, let me ask you. So you're still a bachelor with Mom.
Yeah, fuck. I can't bring her home. Well, I had a girlfriend and she came and stayed with me and my family for a while. But and that was okay. That was good. But after that, like, I'm really hesitant to bring anybody around my kids. And like, since I've only been out of jail for like a year and a half and I'm going to school and stuff like that, I totally rely on my family for a whole bunch of support still till I get my fucking life on track 100%.
Well, I think, so one of the biggest things that I did prior to this relationship, 2 years, I went without any significant other.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I really know who I am now. You know what I mean? Like, I really know who I am. I'm not going to negotiate with myself about things. You know what I mean? I'm okay with who I am. I've never been like that before. So, yeah.
Well,
yeah,
that's what you got to be for a successful relationship anyways.
I mean, how the fuck do I know? Because I've never had one. And then I was really close to...
So I've read.
Yeah. Yeah. I read Codependent No More. Trying to work that in my life today.
I still haven't. The book's
you got to read that.
Sitting on my shelf.
You got to read that because we got to have an episode about codependence and how our families fuck us up because of it. They enable us right down to our bottom until finally they stop answering the fucking phone. Right? So it's like the race to we just want you to get your shit together, or the race to like you're dead. Right?
Well, another thing too is like right now, if I were to like move out, it would put like so much load on my stepdad because my mom's rheumatoid arthritis is getting super, super bad, and she's like fucking struggling to just do daily activities now.
Mm-hmm.
So a part of me is like stuck at home because of that too.
Well, that's good to get back to family, obviously, right?
Yeah.
What's that like on a day-to-day, though, for you, like mentally?
Well, it's tough seeing like somebody that I love so much deteriorate, like physically like that, and different like physical ailments happening all the time, and it's like it's tough, but we kind of just keep our spirits up and not dwell on the inevitable.
I heard this amazing thing that they're like, if you're an asshole when you're broke, you're going to be an asshole when you're rich.
Yeah.
And so if you're a good guy when you're broke, you'll be an even better guy when you're rich.
Well, I hope that's true when
Right.
the money comes.
Well, money's coming. I mean, it's on its way here.
I'm
Anyways,
already rich. I'm doing
exactly.
I'm
We're doing what we love doing.
Yeah.
Exactly. You want to wrap
Okay.
this bitch up? We got an hour in.
Okay. Shout out to our lawyer, Liam Connolly at Connolly Law for all your Canadian law and will estates and media issues. Google Liam Connolly Law. He's a great guy and he knows his shit. Please go to our Patreon page and give us a suggestion if you guys have any nonprofits that you want us to start plugging. And what we do is we'll plug a nonprofit every day for a month. And any donations that come in will go straight 100% to that nonprofit.
Yeah. And are we always free, Kenny?
We're always free.
Yeah, we're always going to be free.
This is us. You listening, you are part of our tribe.
Yeah.
By you just listening right now, you are one of us. You're part of the Lions tribe.
And the appreciation is far extending and reaching. Please let anybody else, actually, strike that. Share this thing with as many people as you possibly can. Hit that subscribe button if you can on YouTube. It goes a long way for us. And tell as many people as you possibly can, because I think that we're all kind of like-minded in this space, and it would be nice to have more like-minded people listening and sharing all of their ideas with us.
Yeah, and if you got a cool story and there's something in you where you think that you need to get this out there, shoot us a message. Like, we can bring you on the show.
Yeah, we can figure something out. Yeah, for sure.
Like, we're always open to having interesting people on here.
Well, and I think the one thing, too, to keep in mind is we've got Sober October coming up. So Sober October is a month. You and I live sober.
Yeah.
But apparently normal people, they're like, I wonder what that's like. And so they check that out, right? And so, yeah, Sober October, we're probably going to be featuring people on the blog more who are talking about their struggle with sobriety and how they overcame. One of the things that I meant to pitch in here right away, I'm growing my beard out. You see this?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know why?
Bum fluff.
It's called the man mane.
The man mane.
The man mane.
That's
yeah.
misogynistic.
Could be.
After my speech, I'll match you on that.
So yeah. So one of the things that I'm thinking is for the men who are part of the tribe,
The pride.
the pride of men who are in this thing. Grow your man beard out for the preamble to Movember.
Yeah, let's get prepped.
And then at the end of Movember, we'll all just shave off our man manes.
We'll buck them off.
Yeah.
I'm game with that.
And then once we get to the breast cancer awareness time, we'll have a campaign for that as well. For sure we will, yeah. Okay, yeah, we'll do something then. Okay, so happy Friday, guys.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in.
Have a wonderful weekend. Bye for now.